Hello, my beautiful people. Let's make bitter leaf soup, Onugbu, aka Onugbu soup. Bitter leaf soup is very highly nutritious and tasty. So these are the ingredients I'll be using for the soup. We have the cocoyam, and that's my meat. I'm using assorted meat. I have the beef shin, shaki, and some more. Then I have my jumbo snails. I bought these snails 3 for 15 pounds. Oh my god. And this is my stockfish and dry fish. For the stockfish, I cook them in batches and put in my freezer, so it's been cooked. And I have ogiri my ogiri. And then I have the bitter leaf itself. This bitter leaf has been washed. They dry, wash, and it's been in the freezer as well. And these are the peppers I'll be using. I have the yellow and red Scotch bonnet, and then I have the crayfish and grounded Cameroon pepper. Also, yeah, that's the crayfish. And then the palm oil, palm oil. You can use the palm extract if you have access to the palm kernels, but if not, palm oil will do. And then of course salt. You always need salt. And I will be using also 2 seasoning cubes for my meats. Guys, these are all the ingredients we'll be needing for this bitter leaf soup. Let's go cooking. The bitter leaf needs to be properly washed to remove good level of the bitterness. But if you didn't do the washing yourself and you're not very sure of how well washed it is, you have to boil it to remove the bitterness. I will show you how to do that. Let's get started. With the cocoyam, you take out the hairy stuff on it, then you wash it and put in a pot to boil. Of course, add some water. Then next, I have my meat. So you need to understand your meat. If the bonnet is very hard, if it's one that you've used before and you know is really hard, and the shaki, you have to cook it before and then you add the beef shin. But if you've used it before and you understand it and you think it will get cooked at the same time with the beef, then you can go ahead and do what I have just done. I have just added the meat in the pot, added the Cameroon pepper, then adding my seasoning cubes and a little bit of onions, and of course salt to cook the meat. All the ingredients will be listed on the description part of the video, of course, as usual. So add in some water, a little bit of water at first to start cooking the meat. So here is the bitter leaf. So I have put the bitter leaf in a pot, added some water, and I would cook it for like 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure you have enough water in the bitter leaf. Cook with like enough water. So here the meat has boiled for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm adding more water into the beef, at least to level the meat. Added in my snails and let it cook till the meat is done. So now this is the bitter leaf. After 10 to 15 minutes, I'm just gonna throw off the water, add in cold water, and rinse and rinse and rinse. So you can do this for like 3-4 times, rinsing off the bitterness. With this, your soup won't come out bitter. So this is my Scotch bonnet peppers. Just give it a pound, and now my cocoyam is ready. So make sure your cocoyam is like soft. You know how you know is good enough or is soft enough is just use your fork or knife and poke it. It should be like very, very soft. The knife or fork should just go through, and then you give it a pound. You can use a food processor to process it, you know. So that's my stock fish going into the pot. Like I said earlier on, it's been cooked before. For if I was using a stockfish that hasn't been cooked before, or maybe stockfish which is actually my preferred, but I don't have it at this time, I'll add it at the same time with the meat. Or if it's the stockfish body, I'll have to cook it separately before, because it's really very hard. It's not gonna get done at the same time with the meat, so you cook your stockfish separately. But if it's stockfish head, it's good to go with the meat. So when the meat is soft, I'm adding my palm oil at this point. So remember, we have the meat in the pot, I have the stockfish in now. Just added my palm oil and then the cocoyam. So with cocoyam, I'll advise you to add as you go. You may not have to add all the cocoyam at once, especially if you don't understand the soup. So you may just pound your cocoyam and then add as you go. So what I'm doing is, I understand the level I want the soup to get to, so I'll add the cocoyam like about half of it. And also I'm using not a very big pot, so I don't have to add so much cocoyam, and then it may mean that my soup will get too thick, and I don't like the bitter leaf to get too thick. So I've added just like about 3/4 of my cocoyam, and then I'll watch it. When the cocoyam has fully dissolved in the soup, I will just check the soup to know if it requires more cocoyam, then I can add more, So I've added the cocoyam, I've added in some more water to about the level I want the soup to get to. Then let the cocoyam dissolve. The cocoyam should fully and totally dissolve into your soup. So now I'm adding my ogiri. Ogiri, you can't do without ogiri in bitter leaf soup, guys. Bitter leaf soup, ogiri is what makes it bitter leaf soup. Hey, why Anambra? You can't make correct Onugbu soup Anambra style without this ogiri. It may smell bad when you buy it, but in the soup it doesn't smell bad. It gives it that's what makes it that bitter leaf soup. So all you need is just dissolve. You can just take some of this water from the soup and just do what I'm doing, dissolve the ogiri so that it easily blends in the soup, so you don't have like lumps of it in the soup. So you dissolve your ogiri in the soup. Ogiri replaces seasoning cubes. I only use 2 seasoning cubes to boil the meat, and truly you can even do without the seasoning cubes once you have ogiri and crayfish. Ogiri is just it. So I've added in my ogiri, covered my pot. After a while, I check my soup. So I can't say cook this soup for 5 minutes or cook it for 10 minutes. No, what you do is to use your eyes to watch your soup. What makes the soup done is when your cocoyam has fully dissolved. That's when your soup is done. So you see, the first cocoyam has dissolved, and from turning it, I can see that it needs more cocoyam for it to get as thick as it should be, and then for me to have the quantity of soup I want. I added in the rest of my cocoyam. So I will let this one dissolve as well in the soup. So, but sometimes I understand how much soup I want to make and how much coconut yam I need, and I can just add everything in at the same time. If you understand it that much, that's good. But if not, you can just do it this way. Add some and you can add more later. So now I'll add in my crayfish. Give it a good turn and let the rest of the cocoyam dissolve. Guys, forget the name bitter leaf soup. There is nothing bitter about this soup. This soup is actually the yummiest soup. In fact, it's my very best soup. And the good thing about Onugbu is that it is very nutritious. It is highly nutritious. So it doesn't just taste good, it is very, very nutritious. It's good in nutrients. It's a good source of vitamin A, C, and K. Guys, look at that snail. Jumbo snail. So like I was saying, bitter leaf contains minerals like calcium, iron, potassium. So it's very good for pregnant women. It also improves digestion. It detoxifies the liver. It reduces inflammation. I mean, there's whole good things that bitter leaf can do to your body. So you're not just eating it because it tastes so good. You can as well eat it because it's good for your body. It's good for you. So now that the cocoyam has fully dissolved into the soup, I'm adding my bitter leaf, my well-washed, prepared bitter leaf. See? And give it a turn. Blend everything together. You know? You can see the pomo is well done. I added it the same time with the beef and it was still good because the pomo naturally is not a very hard one. But if it's the very hard ones, guys, remember to boil it or to cook it separately before you add the other meats, so you don't have a very hard bubble in your soup. So add as much bitter leaf as you wish or you want and turn. So after adding the bitter leaf, you just let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes, because remember you've actually cooked this bitter leaf before. So the reason why you're just cooking it again is just for it to blend with the soup, but it's already cooked. I mean, it's soft enough, it's cooked enough. So just give it 5 to 10 minutes to blend with the soup properly. And also, guys, remember to test your soup at this point to adjust seasoning. Maybe if you need more pepper, if you need more salt, at this point you test your soup and adjust your seasoning. Guys, this soup is ready. This soup is ready, and oh my god, this soup is very, 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 very delicious, very delicious. So for the first day I made this soup, we enjoyed with some pounded yam because I had extra strength to pound yam. Oh yeah. Yay. Sometimes we give hobby treats, you know. So I pounded yam. I will show you how I did that. You can also use a food processor to pound your yam, but I don't know why I'm so very traditional with my cooking. You see? So this soup, bitter leaf soup, you don't need to make it very thick, especially the fact that when it cools down it gets thicker. So this is the yam. So I just quickly pounded the yam. Yams are very nice these days, so I'll be doing everything yam. Pounded yam, roasted yam, yam porridge. So guys, look at this soup. Oh my god. So after some minutes that have left it to pound the yam, you see that it is now hard. I mean, it's no longer as watery as it was the first time I showed it, right? So it gets thicker as it cools down, so you don't need to make it very thick when you cook it. And also bitter leaf soup don't need to be like overly thick, you see. So but again, it depends on how you like your soups. Guys, look at this soup. It's not only delicious, it's delicious. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is beautiful. It's the kind of soup that you serve anyone, they will appreciate it. It's nutritious, it's delicious, it's everything good. Bitter leaf soup. Guys, remember to subscribe to my channel. I'm begging you for more of this wonderful content. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.